Hi, my name is Bente, I'm the Norse Witch, and this week's video will be a short one because I have a very exciting announcement to make that I want to share with you, and that is that I am writing a book. I have been asked quite a lot whether I would be writing a book at any point, but I always said, yeah, probably not, because honestly, I have huge imposter syndrome about it, because I always thought people who are writing a book, they know so much and their English is perfect, blah blah blah. I always thought, okay, my English isn't good enough, I couldn't write a book, I've never been a writer, I've never done anything like this before, I've never written articles or anything like that. The only thing I really ever wrote is my bachelor's thesis, but let's be honest here, if you're writing a bachelor's thesis in computer science, then it's not very heavy on the writing style, if you know what I mean. So I always just... Hi Scotty! I always just kind of bullied myself into thinking that I could never write a book. But then I was approached by Moon Books and I was asked whether I want to write a book for their Pagan Portal series. And that really just gave me a reason to reflect. And also my intuitive reaction to it was, yes, that really excites me. I would really like to write a book. Honestly, before that, I never really reflected on my imposter syndrome when it comes to writing. And since I had never been approached by a serious publisher, honestly, I just never really reflected on it. I thought it was very interesting that I had this intuitive reaction to it where my whole body was like, yes, let's do this. And then just like a little bit later, my imposter syndrome came in and was like, but I don't think we can write a book. I don't think we are a writer, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, I just decided not to listen to it. I'm writing a book for Moon Books' Pagan Portal series. I'm extremely excited about that. And I think for a beginner writer, that's a perfect first project. That's also why I said yes. I think had I been approached by a different publisher for a longer book, then I would have really doubted if I could be able to do it. But if you know the Pagan Portal series, it is a series of books that is rather slim. They are usually like around 30,000 words, usually around like maybe 100 pages, and they're about very niche topics. So with these books, it's not usually like you are buying a Witchcraft 101 book that is packed with everything and packed with a lot of fluff, and then you have 300 pages, from which you maybe need like 100 pages and the rest is either fluff or just information that you didn't really need or want. And what I really like about this Pagan Portal series is that because they are shorter books and they are on niche topics, you can really pick and choose which topics you are interested in. They have, for example, a lot of books that are specifically about one deity. So if you're just looking for information on one deity, you can buy this one book instead of buying an entire book on heathenry or an entire encyclopedia of Norse gods or something like that. So that is what I personally really like about the Pagan Portal series. And with those books usually being shorter, it's just very much less daunting. If I had to write like 250, 300 pages, I think that would scare the shit out of me. But writing 30,000 words, that kind of sounded like an approachable project for a beginner writer. So that is what I decided to do. The book will be called Hands-on Heathenry. I really like that. I like a good alliteration. And what Hands-on Heathenry is about is basically a practical guide to Norse paganism. So what it is not is your typical Heathenry 101 book. Because I have always been complaining over and over about the fact that most Heathenry 101 books are basically just a book about Norse mythology and cosmology, and they don't really give you any information on how to actually start practicing. They give you a lot of information, sure, that's great, you need that, but what most people usually ask me about is not, give me information about Thor, do you know something about the 9 worlds? They usually come and ask about practical things. How do I give an offering? What kinds of offerings do I give? How can I communicate with the gods? How do I even know if they are there? How do I interpret signs? How do I perform a ritual, or specifically how do I perform a bloat? I always said we have enough books on Norse mythology and Norse cosmology. What we do not have enough of is books that actually explain how to practice. So what my book will be about, what Hands-on Heathenry will be about, will be, well, hands-on heathenry. It will not be big on theoretical knowledge, so this book goes along with other books on the theoretical aspects of heathenry. So let's say you already have a Norse Paganism 101 book, then my book will go along with books like that. And of course, I will be giving a bibliography and recommended sources in that book too. So if you happen to not have a book on Norse mythology and cosmology yet, then there will be a lot of recommended sources in it. But yeah, what the book will basically provide is the additional practical applications to the theoretical aspects that are usually included in most heathenry books. So as I already said, things like offerings, prayers, rituals, most probably also how to kind of create a calendar of holidays for yourself, how to communicate with spirits and gods, things like that. I am honestly very, very excited about writing that kind of book because I personally think it's very important to pick a topic that you think is lacking. I wouldn't want to write yet another Norse Paganism 101 book or yet another Witchcraft 101 book, because let's be honest, there are millions of them already. It's not like they are groundbreaking. If you have read one, then reading another one will usually not give you that much new input, if you know what I mean. So I wouldn't want to write another more generic book, so I'm very excited that I'm specifically writing for the Pagan Portal series, that I was able to niche it down quite a lot, and that I'm actually writing a book that I have always complained about not existing yet. And I really, really hope that with that book I will answer all of the questions that I'm usually getting under my videos in the comment sections, because I get a lot of those questions. Because it really seems like people do have these questions, people lack information on how to actually get going, how to get from the research stage to the actual practice stage. And I'm excited to help out with that. I am still in the early stages of writing the book, so I don't have a published date yet or anything like that. It will probably be at some point in 2026. But I decided to announce this book because I feel like if nowadays any influencer or any creator in the witchcraft or heathenry sphere says something like, oh, I have this secret project going on that I can't tell anyone about, it's usually about a book. So I kind of thought there's really no point to trying to hide it or mystify it or something like that, because let's be honest, it's not very mystical anymore. If a creator in our niche says, I have a secret project going on or I have something to announce soon, then we all know that it's usually a book. So I thought, why not tell you right away that I am writing a book. I just started writing in early January, so it will still take some time, because luckily I have a lot of time to write this book. Yet another point which made it less daunting. That's great. The publishing is still a long while away, but of course I will keep you updated on everything. I will most probably ask for any questions that you might have that I might include into the book. That's another point why I think it really makes sense to announce the book while I'm still in the writing stage, because then I can ask for your feedback, because in the end I'm writing that book for the community. So why not ask the community for input when it comes to what I should include or what your struggles are, what your questions are. So I will most probably also be asking things, updating you usually on Instagram. So if you want to stay updated on that, then I would suggest following me on Instagram. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure, if you enjoyed my little ramblings and if you want to stay up to date with what I'm doing, to subscribe and maybe ring the bell down below so that you're notified whenever I upload a new video. As I already said, make sure to check out my other socials, which, let's be honest, is only Instagram. And if you want to support this channel, which would be well appreciated, then feel free to check out my Patreon and my YouTube membership. And I will see you in another video. Bye!